Just gotta get some of this paint onto my bed real fast. Oh, yeah? How's that been going, Crab? Oh, even better. What difficulty are you playing on? Heroic. I couldn't save Johnson on Long Knife Solace. Yeah. Heroic's a good difficulty level, though. I've never done well on Legendary, but I do like playing on Heroic. It gives enough of a challenge without feeling bullshit, as it does in some of the games. Truth and Reconciliation. Fair. Yeah, because Long Night of Solace, that's Halo Reach, isn't it? Because that's where you team up with June late at night for that one, I believe. Hey, Bryce. Right now, I got a couple of new minis that I built just off stream, so kept bashing some more Sisters of Battle. I had to cut her arms and reposition them to make this pose work. Trying to get my Primaris Infiltrators built up, and then later, I need to finish this guy. Taking me a while for the Chaos Knight, but I'm holding off for a little bit because I'm scared, because I need to do a wash on the base, and I did some research, but still got a lot to do, and I'm still nervous about the whole thing. So for now, I'm just getting some base coats painted on the rest of the guys while I wait, so I can stall for a little bit of time and gain some and build up some confidence. Then I just want to change some of. I want to at least get a decent start on some of these other minis, because I feel like I borked my other mini, because I was painting a space shark. I've got the bits. The problem is the base coat I used was a Vallejo paint, which is good, but I didn't thin it well enough, and so some of the details, some of the paint got a little thick on some areas. So this is a work in progress. I'm gonna have to. I can salvage it, but definitely not to the standard I like to have them at. So Space Shark is gonna hide for a bit. Because eventually I am gonna finish him up, but I'll also be doing that Space Shark kind of off stream by myself, just to have a painting project to do. I mean, if you want to, you can ask. I don't know if I'll answer well, but you can ask. Ah, okay. Paying Death Guard, Cloth, Law Enforcement, or Crag Blue. I know it's kind of. I mean, I would say this, because I've got both of those actually. Hold on. Now, I do like Lauren Forest personally. However, I would say my recommendation would be, since you have both these colors, do the base coat of Macragge Blue, thin down Lauren Forest, and have a thin layer of Lauren Forest put above it. So that way it's kind of a weird greenish blue. So it started as blue but faded or got dirty over time, so it's a bit more green. That would be just what I say. Just have some fun experimenting and thinning down paints. Try something new. Try to mix it, see if it works. Because the only person I know that I follow on YouTube that does Death Guard is Eons of Battle, and he likes to mix a lot of colors to make the Death Guard seem very sickly by giving them a range of bright and subdued colors. And I'd just say, just try something out. Yeah, of course, man. When it comes to painting, you just got to try it. I mostly just looked for... I started with Space Marines because I wanted to try for colors I liked. And the first things I could find were the Dark Krakens with black armor and purple highlights and plates. And so that's kind of what I have gone with for my first army. Now, of course, my new main army is definitely going to be these guys because I'm having a lot of fun painting the Chaos Knights. But just trying anything out. As long as it's something new, you can see if you like it or not, but at least you tried it. That's definitely what I've been doing. Chaos Knights. I bought a box of 2 War Dogs. So I've got this guy and I've got... Let me pull the other one off my top shelf here. That's the first one that I've done the most work on. Gonna replace them real fast, just so because I don't have a lot of space on my work desk here. Second one is this guy. So I got 2 War Dogs. I got one more worked on than the other. It's just, like I said, my main goal for today is I'm going to do a wash on the base of this one. And then I want to get some details done on everybody else. However, I also have a thing where I'm trying to paint on stream my main army in my attempt at learning to do stuff. And so anything that has to do with the Dark Krakens, which is my first Warhammer army, I have to stream all of it. Except for I've given myself the luxury of being able to build them off stream. Because I kind of like being able to build them on my own time and then just painting it and then building and priming. And then I can just paint them after the fact. I enjoy that a little bit more. Yeah. So far, and I will say, because I've been experimenting with different like boxes of Space Marines, trying to learn, build, and have fun with them. The Infiltrators set has some cool poses. I don't like the kit they get, though. Like, the kit itself, I'm just going to pull out a couple of models. You get access to bolt guns, bolt pistols, and combat knives. That's in the entire box. There's no plasma pistols. There's no power weapons. It's just that. And I understand with Infiltrators, they want to have, like, reliable weapons that don't make a lot of noise and aren't super flashy, but you know, I would kind of like to have like a plasma pistol attached to one of them at least. Granted, to get a plasma pistol in Sisters of Battle, you can only get one on the box. And it's for this mini pose. You either get the crossbow or you get the plasma pistol. So I had to do a lot of kit bashing to give her the plasma pistol, but that is a whole rabbit hole for something else. The Infiltrator set is fun to build because they got some good dynamic poses. I just don't like how limited their kit feels. The incursors look cool, but I don't really know the difference between infiltrator and incursor on tabletop stuff. And so for now, I'm mostly building the infiltrators. Gonna have a squad of infiltrators, and I think I'm at least gonna do 5 infiltrators, and then I might do a couple of incursors on the side just so I can say I built some, and so I could practice with the pose. But I don't know how effective or what they're good at. I haven't really been able to look at the codex and read through what these models do that's different from the rest of the army. But I wanted to try it because everybody kept saying how much they don't like the Phobos armor. I kind of like it. It's an interesting, like, skinny variation on the armor. Not my favorite by a mile, but it's not too bad. If I had to give a favorite, I'd probably go with the aggressors are probably my favorite kit I've painted so far. Let's see. I do have a question, so I don't really have good lighting. So Chaos Black is close to Pitch Black for me. Can I use Chaos Black primer, then Gracier primer on top? I'm not sure. What I've been doing is, for black armor, I have... Where did I put it? I was just using it the other day. Ha! Alright, so what I've been doing for my black armor is... Got that part, then where is my... Actually, where's my black paint? That's not the right one. Here it is. So what I normally do is I just use a layer of Fenrisian gray as the base for my black stuff, and then I throw a grim black highlight over the top. It's what I've done for most of it. It looks okay because it gives more of like a blue-black look to it, so it's not jet black for me. The only issue is I just need to be more consistent with the black speed paint over the top and then edge highlighting the Fenrisian gray, just so that the armor's highlighted better. I haven't finished painting this model, but I did the black base coat on them. That's kind of what I've been doing for my black armor layers. It's not the most consistent because, again, you gotta be careful with using your Fenrisian gray and then using the speed paint over it, but I like how it looks. It's kind of what I've been doing. Also, hey, Francois. And it's not the Blood Angels Combat Patrol. I just bought a box of the Primaris Aggressors because I just like the Aggressor kit. Let's see. And I don't use any other primer except black for the most part. Like, the only primer I have is the stuff I've bought locally, and it's just Vallejo primer. That's kind of all I have. But I don't know. Chaos Black and then Gracier primer on top. I don't... Yeah, I will say, I will agree with Francois there, because I have learned while building this guy and then painting him afterwards, as well as especially for my Age of Sigmar stuff for the Skaven, certain things you just need to paint before you put them together. This kit is one that will forever haunt me, because if you look, I don't know how it shows with the light, but my brushes, for the most part, are a little too wide and that I can't reach in there too well. So when you look on the side, you can kind of see all the gray unpainted stuff that's in the middle that I'll never be able to get, just because I was too excited to build it. And when it comes to vehicles, like, even on the complicated Space Marines, sometimes it's just easier to paint first and then build it after the fact. Because one thing that's been screwing me over on some of my minis are my Sisters of Battle. Because I built them and then I based them. The problem is I can't really paint the cloak, the inside of this one's cloak, with the angle she's at. And so on the outside, I might be able to paint them to look good, but getting in between this one's legs to get the cloak painted, I can't do it that well. So I wish I had built them and then based them after the fact. That is something I definitely regret. Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to build them separately and you got to paint them before you finish assembling. It feels weird. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it is something that you have to do if you want consistency, because not every model is going to be nice and open. For example, this is one of my favorite minis that I started building a while ago. I still need to finish her backpack, but I started painting this one because it was just really cool. But she has a very nice open pose, so I really like this one a lot. On the other hand, this mini is really difficult to get on the inside of his body to paint that nice and easily. So it's definitely something I've struggled with on some of my minis, is having restraint on how far do I build and prime before I actually fit everything together and paint it. Hey, no worries, man. I started painting back in January, so I'm only 9 months into painting, so I'm not that much further ahead than you are. You just got to try it out. Just got to get started and you go from there. I'm definitely not the authority on this. Francois has a lot more experience than I do. But that's part of the hobby, is you learn together. You ask questions, you learn how to do it, and then you just execute and work on what you like and how you prefer to do things. Sometimes you just got to do things out of your comfort zone, and that's just how you grow and build up the skill. Yeah, Francois with 40 years of experience, he's got me beat. He's got almost twice my age in experience, so there's definitely many things to be said there. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm trying my best, but there's only so much that a new person can do. If you've seen any previous streams, last stream, I was asking Francois a lot of questions because I wasn't sure how to go about getting this painted and done. And he gave me a lot of good tips. So eventually later, I'm going to do a wash over this base. And then I'm going to go back and finish highlighting the base on that one, because I am close to being done with that Chaos Knight. However, I am nervous, and so I'm doing other painting ahead of time so I can just figure it out bit by bit. But yeah, one thing I will say is this pose, as much as I like it, really not helpful for overall painting consistency, because the way that the model will glue, because I use super glue, you can kind of see where, despite trying not to put glue there, you can see where the glue is pulled up against the body. And so now my paint is going to pool up there as well. So sometimes it is much better to throw down and paint the arms before you attach them. This arm is super complicated because you attach the arm and then you attach the actual holster to his leg here. So it's a very dynamic pose. I like it, but it's definitely an issue I have. Yeah, of course, man. Honestly, yeah, I've kind of gotten into it. The whole reason I got into painting models recently is because for Christmas last year, my friends bought me this. Now, this guy comes with his own like pots. You get like one crappy brush, and then you get 2 rows of like, here's paints that you can use. And it's like an official D&D thing. She bought me this. I painted up, realized I kind of liked painting minis, and it spiraled from D&D minis to random things I can find on Etsy, like What's a good example of an Etsy mini I got here? To this guy. And now I'm on to Warhammer. So it was a pipeline. And I'm about to get some Gundam kits later. Because earlier this year, my friend convinced me to watch a Gundam series, and I kind of fell in love with it, and I've been trying to get caught up and watch everything. Taking a while, but so far I've liked everything I've seen. Ah, okay. When it comes to glue, for the most part, when it comes to minis, I just use the Zap-A-Gap, is what I found has worked really nice for me. It's a lot thicker in the medium format, and so it doesn't flow down the mini. And so I can just carefully put a drop here, put a drop there, and I can get everything thrown on. And then for my basing stuff, like getting all these rocks to stay into place, especially because, grab the bags. My basing rocks are that size, and then I've got that as well. So getting all of those sealed into place, I've just found a super thin super glue, and this locks all my basing stuff into place. I just don't like it on my minis because if it flows out, you can kind of see where it attaches and where it pulls up. So hold on, I think I've got a mini here that has a pretty bad spot on it I can show off. Because I used the Extreme Power Super Glue for the longest time because I didn't find Zap-A-Gap yet. No, I was able to cover up that one. Where is it? IG back in 06. I would have killed for speed paints back then. Understandable. Speed paints have been a godsend for some of my painting. I've enjoyed it a lot. Though another paint that I've learned to appreciate a lot is contrast paint. Snakebite leather has been one of my favorites to use because after messing with it and making some mistakes, I've kind of learned how to use it in a way I like. And it's helped me a lot. It's how I flavor all of my rats. Because I do XV88 brown for the base layer, and then I just throw snakebite contrast over the top. And it just perfectly details the rats to do dirty brown rats. And so that's kind of my recipe for all my Skaven. Ooh, perfect. I will watch that. Because I ended up watching... So, Francois, I did subscribe to your channel, and I did start watching a few of your stuff. First thing I saw was the Raven Guard video. That's fair, Jonathan. That's fair. I like Citadel for some... just because I like some of their stuff. Some of their paints I enjoy. But, yeah, no. The price markup on some of them is a little bad. However, I am a single guy, so I can get away with throwing away money on paints that are a little bit expensive just because I live off of rice bowls. Rice and cut up chicken or beef is kind of just my main diet, so I eat cheap and then I'm able to get by and afford all my miniature stuff. Oh, what was it? It was... I mean, it was a group of infiltrators. I can't do it because I stream off my phone, but it was off of your... Gosh, I don't remember what it was. It was that Fox... The Raven Wing, that's it. Yep, that's it. Yep, Raven Wing. Sorry, I mixed up the Ravens. But yeah, it was the Raven Wing Infiltrators. You had a video posted on them. So I watched that. That was the first thing I saw. I mean, that's fair, Demon Hunter. But at the same time, I would argue that when it comes to Thousand Suns, touching up the Thousand Suns is always worth it because they have one of the best looks out of all of Warhammer. Like, they're not my favorite Legion. Don't get me wrong. My favorite Legion is the Iron Warriors. But I gotta say, I have never, up until the weird robots they released earlier this year, I don't think they've had a bad Thousand Suns model or artwork before. Like, the new robots, I'm not the biggest fan of, but they still look fine. They're still much better than some of the stuff that I've seen. But, yeah, no, in my opinion, touching up Thousand Suns is never a bad idea. They always look good. You can never make them look worse. It is. Then, did you like them? I've always done my Dark Angel scout units as Ravenwing instead of Greenwing. Honestly, I did like them a lot. I thought they were really good. I like the color, I like the poses, and I liked because you had one of them. It looked like you transferred the grenade, so it was in his arm was in a downward pose, and he's dropping off the grenade with a lot more smoke billowing out of it. That was the pose that stuck out to me the most because I thought that was really cool. I like that one a lot. But yeah. Though I will say that with where I'm currently at, although I'm building and painting up my stuff, I don't know of anywhere that actually in my local area that plays games, which is why I'm trying to assemble all of my armies as quickly as I can. One, because content for my channel, and two, because I want to be able to convince my friends to try it out. Because if I can convince them, hey, let's play a game together, and if they like it, I could then convince them, hey, I'll help you build your armies. But so far, I know there's a couple of game stores in a couple towns over that are getting Warhammer boxes in, and they're starting to sell Warhammer kits, so maybe there will be a tournament somewhere to play Warhammer in my area soon. So far, I don't know of anywhere. I'm definitely excited to play it once I have an army assembled, though. So far, most of my minis are just my Dark Krakens, which grab a quick guy here. Most of my stuff are Dark Krakens. I need to get more stuff painted up because I haven't finished everything, but I've got a decent amount of these guys. After that, I got a lot of Skaven. And then I've got 2 Chaos War Dogs and a box of Sisters of Battle. And I have not finished painting any of the Sisters of Battle. I got started and I kind of figured out what paint scheme I wanted to use on them, but I really need to get that done, especially because they're my favorite in the lore. 500 points of Tau as Vikings football color to get a buddy into Warhammer. 500 Chaos Space Marine as Ohio State football colors. Oh, dang, yeah. It's a time sink, but hey, it's definitely a fun way to at least experiment and figure things out. But yeah, so far I don't know of anybody hosting events in my area. I do need to actually start following the Facebook pages of those game stores just so I can see what kind of tournaments they have. Because the only place that I know does anything as a game store is there is a card game shop. Like, it's a hobby shop that sells minis, models, and everything. But they do, on Mondays, they do Magic the Gathering nights. And once I finish fixing up my decks, I do want to go to one of those just to see how well my decks hold up. Because I've only got 3 decks that I can really run right now. And the best one is a Simic deck with a commander that's okay. But my best commander, I need to finish tweaking the deck so I can get better coverage for things. Because so far, My rat deck is my favorite, but I need some better support cards in there. And I need to get a few enchantments to really spice things up. Because I do all right, but I can't control the game as well as I need to with what I currently have in that deck. But who knows? Because after this, I also want to get Star Wars Legion because, of course, I was raised on Star Wars. I was a Star Wars kid, Star Wars nerd. So I definitely want to get Star Wars Legion. I also need to figure out where Eons of Battle has their stuff because they have the whole Gungan army STLs, and I would love to do a Gungan army. I think that'd be cool. Hells yeah. I'll definitely be checking it out, Francois. But yeah, that's kind of just what I've been working on. New commander friends can be tough because you don't know the power level. Oh yeah. Because I got a friend who he has so many good cards and he's got so many good decks that here's the thing. I don't mind losing if I play a game of Magic, especially because I'm building a deck to have fun with my deck to see if it can work. And so am I going to lose whenever my friend brings out Atraxa? Yeah, I'm not beating Atraxa. And it's not the 4/4 flyer, it's the 7/7 that lets you look at the top card of your 10 cards of your library and select like one of each type. Like, I'm losing to that Atraxa. There's nothing I can do against that. But I still have fun playing as long as it's not a blue-red deck. For some reason, I understand the gimmicks behind blue and red. I hate how they take 50 minutes for a single turn. I mean, more removal would be good. The issue is, my best deck is a blue-black deck, where my whole thing is I kill things, those things are banished to everybody's exile instead of graveyard, and I get a rat that has the ability, gets a +1/+1 for each other rat I control on the field. And so I'm supposed to build a swarm of rats, and so most of my deck is built on I'm getting more rats. I am changing Arcane Adaptation to change everything into rats. And then I'm killing my opponent's creatures as often as I can to get more rats that scale off other rats. And so that's my whole win condition is I have a swarm of rats and I swing at you with 30, like 20 of my 30 rats and I win. And I also give them Toxic with Karumonics because Karumonics and Ogre Slumlord are kind of needed in a rat deck. It doesn't work well against Atraxa, who's a 7/7 flyer with lifelink and death touch. Especially because if you kill Atraxa in the 7/7 form, soon as Atraxa gets played again, they get to take one of each card type out of the top 10 cards of their library. And so it's a very well-built deck. And so far, my rats can't handle or ramp up fast enough to get rid of that threat. I've played for like 15 years. You kind of just build up power in a player group. Yeah, Magic has an insane amount of online assets up. Honestly made pretty weird to get into without the resources. True. One rat will win you a game when your opponent has 0 board sage, I say. No, that is true. One thing is I'm trying to get a board wipe. Because one thing is because even if I kill my commander, his ability still procs. And so if I board wipe and I get rid of, let's say altogether from my opponents, I get rid of 20 creatures, I get 20 +1/+1 rats that get +1/+1 for each other rat I control. And so normally my game state is I need to get a board wipe and then I just kill everybody after I get a bunch of rats when everybody feels like they've ramped up. That's kind of my whole thing, but it's difficult because I don't know of many good board wipes that kill creatures in black or blue. Because with blue, it's a lot of return to hand, not kill. and that does not help me. Yep, I've been trying to look into black a little bit for better enchantments, because so far most of my enchantments are if any of my creatures die, I get food tokens. If a creature of mine dies, I get to draw a card, which I need card draw in my deck. But I also need to get better mana, so I'm looking at getting some of the Eldrazi colorless artifacts, just so that way I can get mana ramp with that. Because my only mana ramp card right now in that deck is the Patchwork Banner, because it really works in tribal. I choose rat, and all my rats get +1/+1 as long as the Patchwork Banner is on the field, and I can tap it for any color energy, or sorry, any color mana. So it kind of works, but I need to get better mana ramp in that, because so far I can only play about 1, maybe 2 rats or 1 or 2 cards per turn. And since I need to be playing rats as fast as possible and killing things as fast as possible, I need to get a lot more mana and treasure tokens. So I've been trying to look into how I ramp that up. But just looking into it. See, stacks will help too. Things like Rhystic Study, Grievous Wounds. Yeah, I don't got the money for Rhystic Study. It's a great card. I don't got that. Damnation, Mutilate, Black Sun Zenith come to mind for black. Okay, perfect. I'll have to look into that. Hey, Leaf Lizard. Ashnod's Altar would be great for you. Okay. Also, hello, Ivy. Talking Magic the Gathering, I'm trying to get caught up on everything. But yeah. Because I've got that, and then I've got a new commander I need to build a deck for. Because I got the super fancy art for Helga Skittish Seer from the Bloomborough deck. And green, blue, and white is such a cancerous combination that I really want to play it just to see how far I can take it. Because I think it'd be fun. Oh yeah, what are you painting, Leaf? Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at for Helga. She's such a disgustingly good card that I'm really excited to see what kind of shenanigans I can get away with by using her. A Canoptic Doomstalker. Ooh, nice. Eldrazi Commander deck. Yeah, I've got a friend who has it. He's got Eldrazi, and they play really well. I'm just kind of... So far, I've just been I've been loyal to Bloomborough, because Bloomborough is kind of what got me back into playing Magic the Gathering, because I'm a fan of the Redwall series above everything else. And so Bloomborough being a mixture of Mouse Guard and Redwall as a Magic the Gathering gimmick set absolutely sold me on it. So I've been buying a bunch of stuff and getting a bunch of tribals out of that. And so I've got a 60-card lizard deck that I might convert into a commander deck, because I have a lot of lizards from Bloomborough that are really nice. And I kind of want to see how well black-red does as an aggression deck. I definitely want to try that out. I also got a bat deck that I'm building, because I got some of the good bat cards in there, so I just need a few more and I can really get things off the ground. Helga was really cool. Glarb, Calamity, whatever, was also really cool commander to pull, so I want to try it with a couple of guys. Playing the In-Spirit Flagship as my commander lately, probably my most fun deck. Penny the Orb, gotta have purple energy. Purple is a good color. I may or may not be biased, but purple is a phenomenal color. Yeah. As soon as I pulled Glarb, I realized that I need to get Glarb and Helga decks for themselves, because they're ridiculously nice. Okay. But yeah, that's just kind of a lot of the shenanigans I've been working with. So we are going to now do the part that I've been putting off for a little bit because I've been nervous. Set these guys off to the side. Get this up, and we're going to do... So Any recommendations on my yellow for these 1,000 Suns Terminators? Getting frustrated using the Pro Acrylic Golden Yellow at the moment. I don't have a lot of yellow, honestly. The only yellow color I've used is... Hold on. I need to grab a few minis to show how the yellow looks, because I've mixed it with a few things. So the only yellow I currently have and use is Uriel yellow, just because I wanted something. I mixed it with my Wraithbone to tone it down a little bit to give Link hair. I need to finish painting his face and also the design on the shield and the design on the scarf. But I was able to tone it down a little bit to give him like the nice golden yellow hair that you get in Ocarina of Time. I mixed and layered it with a few other things to give it more of a toned down dirty blonde look that I just needed to throw in my Snakebite leather contrast to make this a dirty blonde contrast. By itself as yellow, works almost perfectly layered on top of blue for Samus's fusion suit yellow. So this is the only yellow I have. I don't know if it would work well with 1,000 Suns necessarily, but that's kind of the only one that I have that I can recommend because that's the only one I've got usage out of. Anything that I do for the most part is because I really don't use yellow and I don't use gold that often. The closest I got is Balthazar Gold, and I kind of use it for this. Or I have a brass that I use on some of my weapons for fantasy. That's kind of really all I have right now. I need to expand into yellow because I do want to try some Imperial Fist colors, but it'll take a while before I get to that. I drove all the way to the Invisible Wall in Silent Cartographer. The Invisible Wall in the Ocean. Oh, nice! Copy of Inspire and everything becomes hexproof and indestructible. Then you start dropping board wipes, Terminus. Ooh, okay. I like the idea, Francois. I'll have to look into it. Undercoat in white, see if I can get it to pop like I want to. Yeah. Undercoat in white would be good. That's it, because that's all I can think of, honestly. I need to use yellow because it is a good color, and even though I am an Iron Warrior fanboy, I can respect Imperial Fist fans because we're just two sides of the same coin, and fortifications and siege are based. Using greedy gold on my Necrons. Ooh, nice. My Elementary did a bit of a challenge, entered into paint competition, but it's 98% Walmart craft paint. And you won it. Oh, nice. Okay. So now comes the moment of truth that I am scared for. I need to finish watering down my speed paint. But we're going to turn the speed paint into a wash. And quickly go over all of this. Because I want to see how this all turns out, if I can get in the recesses a bit. I need a bigger brush. This is not working. Greedy gold secondary, death metal primary, and purple energy. Okay, I like it. Granted, I am biased towards purple. My yellow is a grim, dark style of yellow, though, not a bright, clean, and vibrant. Ah. I am so glad I kept this brush nearby, despite the fact that I never thought I'd use it. Okay, I was a lot more nervous, but this is actually turning out surprisingly good. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, okay. I'm gonna let that dry. Then hopefully I can dry brush my highlight back onto that color. Yeah, I got a chance to look into it a little bit. I found a couple of videos that explained it that made sense. I just wasn't too sure. But I did find a few things that gave me a little bit more confidence on how to do this. For the most part, I want to do some more research so I can practice on it, but it makes a lot more sense now that I've seen like how people talk about it. I just wish some of the YouTube videos were a bit more better explained or paced for me, because my brain is messed up, so I don't always understand things normally. But I'm definitely going to be looking into it because it is something that it makes a lot of sense now that I've seen it in action and I've seen some people do it. I just need to practice incorporating it. And so I'm going to try a few practice models to work on it. But for the most part, I am convinced that is definitely what I need to do next. For now, just getting things figured out. Okay. Now where's that brush so I can offload more onto my palette? Okay, whatever works, works. I'll definitely be interested in taking a look at it. Because most of the time, I've found a lot of tutorials that just feel like they're... I don't want to be mean. All right. Thank you, Demon Hunter. Have a good night, man. Hopefully I'll see you later. But when I've found other tutorials on YouTube, you either find people who are clear, concise, and they kind of make sense, or you find the most pretentious people playing for the algorithm that instead of being kind and like to explain detail enough, I just get a lot of videos going, here's how to do this. And I'm going to tell you 5 separate times and loop in on myself 4 times why this is important, how this could work, without explaining how to actually do the damn tutorial. And so I've sat through a 12-minute video earlier today. I'm like, you have said nothing of value, nothing of worth. You keep saying how important this is without explaining the core principle of how to make it work. And so I understand why some people get big enough on YouTube that that's how they like do their tutorials and explain things. I'm not trying to hate on the game and for people trying to make money. But you gotta admit, there is only so much grace people can have when you're trying to explain something, and you have the most roundabout way of explaining it. Like, you're not getting a friendship with me if all you're doing is going, so here's how and why this is important. I'm actually not going to explain it because I assume that you've got 10 years experience. But here. Yeah. So it's definitely been interesting because I am trying to learn how to paint, and I'm trying to find other people who paint and do tutorials just so I can follow them and be like, okay, this is what they say, this is how they do it, this is how they go about making it happen. It's interesting. and I enjoy it. But there are times where it just gets a little tedious, where I just have to look at them and go, "Are you serious?" Yeah, I don't know. For now, I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh gosh, non-metallic metal. I have seen people talk about it over and over again. I'm like, I see why people do it, but oh man, I just, I'll be honest, if I can just afford to have the metallic paints, I'm using the metallic paints because I like the ooh shiny factor and I like making the paints look dirty. Like, my favorite effect is taking Balthazar Gold and then throwing the algae green speed paint over it, because then you get a dirty looking brass copper thing. And because most of my armies are based in the water or near a water world or lake, having just corroded metal with the green algae on it as a look is kind of what I'm going for with my army. And so I appreciate using that, but non-metallic metal is something I'm gonna have to learn eventually. I just learned in person, felt better doing it that way. I can see that. I mean, if I'm in person, I can ask the questions I desperately need to ask, and I would definitely enjoy that a lot. I just never, there just isn't anywhere that does like model painting at a place. If there was, I'd probably take my second Titan, or sorry, my second Knight, and I'd probably just go to a location there and just learn and talk to them from there. Learn on a huge model like a Knight Titan or something. Yeah. I mean, I am looking at, when I get paid on Thursday, I'm getting a couple of Knight Armigers. And so technically they're supposed to be Imperials, but I'm going to paint them over to be part of my Chaos Knight army, because I like the idea of pure gun, nothing else for some of my Chaos Knights. And apparently the official Knight Armiger pattern is for the Imperium is just paint over it, make it Chaos. That's how you get the Chaos ones. Have you ever, Cheeseburger the second, have you ever played Red Alert 3? Tim Curry escapes capitalism by retreating into space, and J.K. Simmons' robot disguised as president created by the still existing Japanese empire. I haven't played the game personally. I want to, but I do know about the Tim Curry escaping the only place untouched by capitalism, because that is such a legendary line from Tim Curry. I'm going to the one place untainted by capitalism. Space. Because you can see it in the video. He's holding back his laughter as he's recording that line. It's so good. That line alone sold me on I had to find and play Command and Conquer, just because that's too cool of an idea. You'll typically have to attend a convention and pay for a class from a pro. If I have to, I have to. Though that'll definitely happen later in the future. Being a Necron player, metallic paint makes sense. Fair. White marble and dark jade. Ooh, okay. I like the color ideas. Yeah, I don't know. My plan is to one day actually go to some of the conventions for Warhammer and other board games, because the one game that I have been interested in getting into recently was Blood and Plunder, because I know I can build up a couple of militaries myself that way and convince a few of my friends to play it, and that's an easier barrier into entry than Warhammer. But also, I was looking at it because I might be able to. My grandfather and I both like history. Growing up, I would watch the documentary Modern Marvels with him. Absolutely love that. And so, one thing I was looking at doing as a bonding thing was just getting the pirate game Blood and Plunder, because he'll know more about the naval uniforms than me. So we can actually build up and do different historical navies and do a war game together. At least that's my hope, but we'll see. There's a guy that goes to the same hobby shop I go to, wants to do a 3v3 game. Ooh, that'd be fun. All joints, spines, and guns are dark jade, while all armor is white marble. Oh, okay. It was a phenomenal show. I absolutely loved it. And when I found out why it went off air, I was pretty mad. But that's because Disney bought the History Channel and decided History Channel is no longer about history, which was dumb. But what can you expect from Disney in this modern day and age? They can't even seem to keep their own actors in line, much less get a decent movie production made. So, yeah, I don't know. Definitely trying to get into the table, because so far when it comes to tabletop stuff, almost all I really play right now is D&D with my friends. They got me in. A couple of my friends got me excited and got me playing it. I've had fun playing it, but I definitely want to try some other types of board games. Well, tabletop games, sorry. I know there's a massive difference, and board game aficionados will kill me if I refer to everything as a board game. But it's just something that I've been trying to get into a bit more, because I'd like to be a bit more productive with things. And I like being able to build and paint minis for whatever I use. The Skaven just kind of called to me because I already play D&D, and so having evil rats just kind of goes with D&D campaigns in general. So instead of goblins, I can shake things up with a different encounter for my party. Haven't you seen any tips for painting checkerboard harlequins? There is a YouTuber I follow who recently did a video involving harlequin vehicles, and what he did is he took some I can't remember what it is. It was similar to cardstock or some form of like thin plastic sheet. He cut out checker patterns and then just used his airbrush over it to get the pattern on some of the Harlequin vehicles. That's all I can say that I've seen in terms of anybody doing anything for Harlequins, and that's from Eons of Battle. He's the guy I normally watch for mini painting, but that's the only guy I know of who's done anything for Harlequins that kind of explains his process as he builds and paints everything. Outside of that, I got no idea about Harlequins. I want to get some Harlequins because I think they're the coolest part of the Eldar lore and factions, but I have not attempted those yet. Oh, what am I doing? I have a paintbrush for models this size. I keep forgetting I'm back to actually painting normal minis and not Chaos Knight the entire time. Okay, so we can't do the lowest setting. Fine. All right. I'm just dropping everything, apparently. There we go. And clean off and try to reshape this brush a bit. It's starting to get frayed. Okay. But yeah. I don't know. I will say though, as I've been trying to learn to paint everything, because I will admit to my previous sin. So I was working on a space shark guy because I was actually really excited because I have a bunch of space shark upgrade bits that I bought off of Etsy. So a wax seal in the shape of a shark head, some anchors, and some like Polynesian style like detailed bags. They're really cool. I like them a lot. The issue is I didn't thin down the base coat I did on this guy that well. So I will admit to my sin is that Basalt Gray is a really good color. I liked it a lot. I didn't thin it down that much, and so some of the details are... When I was trying to get a thick, even coat of my Fenrisian Gray, because I like the color, and I think it looks really close to how the Space Shark blue-gray looks, it didn't work out as well as I had hoped. But I do need to fix him up a little bit, but so far he's coming out all right. But the base coat being as thick as it was does not help me. But I'm glad I was able to do this guy as a practice first, because I kind of understood how the model feels, and I learned something. Is that Fenrisian Gray is very difficult to evenly layer on a mini. Something I've been trying to work on, but it does not like to go uneven at all. Maybe that's more of a skill issue on my part than anything else, but I have noticed that for my purples, they layer very quickly, very easily, and they seem very consistent. I cannot say the same for the rest of my for Fenrisian Gray at least. It's a good color. I like how it works in tandem with my speed paints, but definitely not the easiest to evenly layer on stuff. Oh yeah, no. I have loved having Gura as the chapter master for the Carcharodons. It's the funniest thing ever. I kind of see it as like when we had the Space Maid chapter, where it's just the Space Marines wearing a bunch of maid outfits as if they work in a maid cafe. Yeah, I am fully in the VTuber rabbit hole, and I have been for years. And Gura being the chapter master of the Carcharodons is kind of one of those ones where I'm like, I'm glad those two communities came together for that meme. Now we just need to get a chapter for Corone. Corone would be fun to have a chapter with. I love the Space Maids. They're a bunch of anime cat girls too. Oh yeah. I think my favorite part of that meme is the I think it's a Warlord Titan, where it's in a giant dress and just has that text speech, like the text to speech of like, you get the weird, oddly threatening like Japanese greeting, and then the war horn at the end of it as like a normal maid cafe greeting, and then all of a sudden a possibly loud war horn blares right after the greeting is done. It's the fun, nonsensical meme part of it that I enjoy the most out of all of that. I need to get more gray on my palette because I am running out. Oh yeah. My thing is I need to figure out how people are getting the maid outfits. Because if somebody's just selling them on Etsy, I'm going to buy a few just so I can have my own group of Space Maids for my desk as a decoration. Because I just think it would be the funniest thing to have. Oh yeah, here's my collection of the best models I've ever done. What's with the Hello Kitty ones? Oh, those are the best ones. Now my candle's going all right. I just need to shovel some more paint on my palette real fast. Wherever I put my Fenrisian Gray, I seem to have misplaced it somewhere. That is very unfortunate for me. Ah, there it is. There's a crossover of it? Oh gosh. Did Goldship join the White Scars? I'm really curious who went over where. Because I assume Goldship went for the White Scars because Goldship and the Khan would absolutely beef with each other in the best ways possible. I feel like Agnes Tachyon would work really well with Fabius Bile. I'm not sure why. That's just a thought that came to mind. That or she goes with Belsarius Call. All because of one horse being called Emperor when he was racing. Oh my gosh. Is it simply Rudolph as the Emperor of Mankind? The dad joke Emperor? Oh my, oh boy. Oh boy, that also makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, that does make sense. But if we got Rudolph as the Emperor, who is Teo replacing? Is Teo Sanguinius? Oh no, now my head's thinking of Uma Musume. Picture of Sanguinius holding Haru. I need to find this image. After stream, I am hunting for that image. Because I was trying to think of who would claim Mambo, but if Sanguinius is holding Haru, I have to find that. I have to find that. That sounds too adorable. Especially since Haru passed away, what was it, last week or the week before? So I definitely want to see how he brought the most wholesome horse into the most grimdark and evil setting of the entire world. It came out after she died? Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm going to be hunting for that image. Oh, that's why he's holding her. Oh. Oh, now I normally don't have music because I have to stream from my phone whenever I do this. So I don't have I'm not able to get any music on right now. But now that Uma Musume has been brought up, I've got the all gold ship Trace and Ondo video stuck in my head. I thought I had gotten that video out of my head, and now it's back in. Hey, barbecue. Ugh. It's good to see you again, man. Right now, I'm just getting some base coats applied and thrown around. I've done a lot of kit bashing recently. My favorite kit bash, and the one that I'm most proud of, is being able to change the pose on this sister battle because I didn't like the basic pose. And for my army, I wanted to have the plasma pistol in it. So, 2 plasma pistol. I had to snip off at the wrist on both of her hands. Well, technically, actually, for this one, I snipped right here in between, and I carved a hole into that arm so that way the peg that was on this arm could stick in, just for added structural support. But I got the chainsword because, again, when it came to the Sister Battle box, you basically get all of the good options on the Canoness, if you want to take it. But I like power weapons more, and I like the crossbow a lot. But it took a little while to kit bash getting the chainsword and then the plasma pistol onto a different model. But just trying to get through all my guys. Just found another picture of Haru and Sanguinius. This time they're actually drawn together instead of a small Haru edited into his hands. That's adorable. My voice isn't doing so well right now, so I'm taking the night off stream. Ah, shoot. Is it because of you getting sick, or has it just been a little hectic at work? Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that definitely put a hamper on a lot of plans. Granted, I'm also kind of lucky because my illness didn't really affect my voice too much. So although I am taking today off from work, I can mostly talk. Mostly. Though I wish I wasn't completely sick because I would have been able to take some time to go in and try to get my internet fixed. Because I have internet again, so I should be able to stream from my computer. And so I will be doing extra streams throughout the week. I just have to finish getting my modem reset up because I think mine's broken. However, that is a problem for whenever I have a day off again, which is most likely Saturday. I sincerely hope Saturday, because if not, I'm going to be busy on Friday, and so that's going to take up a lot of time, if not all my time. I'm gonna have to get a drink of water though, because oh boy. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Okay. I need to drink more if I'm yapping this much. Good to know. Yeah, that. You sold me Leaf Lizard. I'm definitely going to have to look for it. I think easiest way to send it is I have my DMs open on Twitter or X or on Instagram. So you can send it either way. That works for me. I'm Degenerate Quill either side. I will say though, the one thing that I think Cygames did right was nailing and making Haru the most adorable thing possible. Because for some reason, I remember not long after the game released globally, there's a YouTuber I follow who did like random lore and fun facts about all of the Umas. And one of my favorites was that apparently somebody found, before it was released in English, like to the English version, Haru Rara singing "If You're Happy and to Know It, Clap Your Hands." And I remember that comment section was full of people going, I needed that today. Kind of want to look it up and find that video again. It's cute. It's cute. And I remember, I think I saw it. Like, I think I first saw it when I woke up one morning after a rough night at work the night before. It was just kind of, it was nice. It was wholesome. And it just kind of, it was invigorating enough. But I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, I needed that today. I mean, I would say you should get into Uma Musume only because the anime is funny. If you want to get into the full story and everything with the game, you can definitely play the game, but I will caution the game is a roguelike. So if you don't like roguelikes, a gotcha roguelike at that, it is kind of difficult, especially because unless if you get the best support cards and good RNG, you're going to be capped out at how well you can do per run. And so it really depends. I've had decent luck with it, but I still haven't been able to get any of my characters to A rank, despite being able to max out a single one of my stats. It takes a lot of stats and things to max out a character or get it to A rank. I couldn't even dream of getting to S. The best I can do is B plus on a consistent basis. And that's if I get lucky on RNG, because gosh dang, some of those horses hate me. But the anime alone for Uma Musume is definitely worth a watch, even if you never play the game, just because it's fun, it's cute, and it's wholesome. And it definitely hits you in the feels, because if you've played sports, you know exactly how those horses are feeling when they win or lose a race. As for me, I did cross country, so I definitely know, like, running as a sport has definitely always been my thing. And just seeing how they celebrate or how they cry at the end if they win or lose, it's oof. Also, can't message you on Twitter because I'm not verified. Ah, shoot. I'm not verified either, so I don't know why that's a thing, but all right. It's all good, man. I'll try to take a look at it when I got a chance after stream. I'll try to hunt it down somewhere. Okay. Move these guys up onto my display. Now we're going to get back to dry brushing, not dry ship. Ghost Ship embodies the SpongeBob meme. Yeah, I don't really feel like it. That's weird. Okay. I don't know what's going on there, but all good, man. No worries. Yeah, as far as the anime for Uma Musume goes, highly recommend it. They've got multiple seasons, a movie, a dedicated OVA series after the fact, and an entire season dedicated to a side character that became a main character for a lot of people because of it. So I highly recommend it. It's a fun series, definitely worth looking at, getting into. But at the end of the day, it is a lot to get into, and season 1 of the anime is a little rough in some parts. It has its main focus and strength being the fun, goofy side of the anime girls being anime girls. That's how they did it, which I think works, but, you know, different people, different things, and different priorities. Yep, Ogre Cap is amazing because she's a fat ass. Ogre Cat being a fat ass is probably one of the better jokes. So my favorite horse not getting a whole lot of screen time is both tragic and funny at the same time. But she had her own, she was part of the triple, so I will take all of the jokes with winning ticket, and I will be happy with it, because there's only so much only so much spotlight a horse can get. Yeah, I highly recommend it, man. Besides, if you get into it, I can send you all the memes. I like how they took the traits from the real life horse and put them in the show. We're talking winning an eating competition because she was hungry, not to win first place. And so she gave the first place prize to her other competitor. Trust me, if you want to see fat ass, Reischauer you get some shots of Reischauer's ass in season 2 that I didn't realize she was stacked the way she was. But the angle they throw her at, she is a stacked runner. For Ogre Cap, I haven't seen the full side story for her. I've just seen some moments, and my friend watched it ahead of time Because he's already seen it. He's further ahead in the anime than I am. Granted, he outpaces me when it comes to watching anime by a long shot. So I'm always catching up with him and then talking about anime going, yeah, no, this is cool. Thank you for the recommendation. Where he's like, yeah, I saw that a little while ago. Okay. Oh, yeah? Huh. I haven't bought stacks in a long time. Oh, yeah. Well, that's because the whole thing is technically Japanese horse racing is subsidized by the Yakuza, and so looting the horse girls in Japan, Cygames is just nervous that if you loot the horse girl wrong, that some of the Yakuza will just try to pull or grab funding from Cygames or revoke the license. So it's a give or take situation because you get some people who want to have, like, I want my horse to be pure, I don't want anything to happen to her. And then you get the owner of Daiwa Scarlet who went, hey, you can have the rights to Daiwa Scarlet, but you got to make her tits bigger than vodkas in the anime. And so it's a spectrum, as is all things. So for the most part, they don't loot them just because they're trying to be careful with it. But that's just how that goes. I'm not gonna lie. I think I can call it good on the base there. So, I'm gonna call that good. I am pleasantly surprised by that. So, it's time for the other one. Oh yeah, for the most part they do. Which I find hilarious that the one time the fans can agree to not loot something is because of the threat of the Yakuza pulling the anime and their favorite horse from it is an ever-looming threat. As the anime community, we might like looting everything, but we also we are careful to make sure that we're allowed to loot it in peace. Until you get to that legendary exchange where somebody on the English side went, because they were going back and forth with people going, hey, it's in the official policy, like read the policy Cygames put out of don't loot the horses. And the one person replied with, refer to my dick and balls to how these horse girls make me feel. Because I get both sides. Don't loot the horses. We're not supposed to. Trying to keep their image pure and all that. Nothing against that. On the other hand, that's pretty fucking funny. Sorry, I'm in the middle of getting a lot of water into my speed paint. Because I need to thin this down. Yeah, basically. You can't be as openly lewd about the anime horse girls as you do with the rest of the anime women that we watch. Which is definitely funny because if there's any time to get an anime community that isn't going to loot everything in sight, it definitely is nowadays, that's for sure. Which to me is both funny and awkward. Well, that's because the entire purpose of Uma Musume is they take the real life horse and get random facts and trivia about it and transfer it into like the horse girl as like their personality. And so it's only as deep as the horse is well known. And they then improvise with what they have to make it so that the character has more of a personality, just to keep people interested in them. Like Special Week is the star of season 1, and Special Week in real life kind of reanimated and gave more excitement to the Japanese horse racing circuit. And so that's why a lot of people became fans of Special Week. And so she's very much the archetypical, like typical Japanese idol. And then they get more unhinged from there. Goldship alone is the most insanely based horse. And she is around, but not the main focus until season 3, because they got to give focus to other horses ahead of time. Though I am excited because because once I finish season 3, I think then I move on to the movie with Agnes Tachyon. And Agnes Tachyon seems fun as a character, but Manhattan Cafe is one of my more favorite horses from the game. So I'm excited to actually see her in the anime because she is not around for the first while. Yeah. Yeah, everything about the Gold family is hilarious. Because you have Goldship, who is a complete shitlord in the best way possible. You have Staygold, who looks like an aura farming Japanese homeless man. Ofevre, who actually paid attention and raced seriously on like Goldship. And then, who is the other? Because there's a few others. Because isn't Gold City also part of the Gold family? Because they all came from Medra McQueen, which I think it's funny that they had Goldship and McQueen as friends and partners in crime in the anime, where it's like, oh yeah, grandson's abducting grandpa again, like normal. I did not know that. That makes a lot of sense because Goldship would kick or try to kick her trainer during TV interviews. But yeah, no, menaces to society, maniacal shitlords, and we love each and every one of them. Really? He would zigzag? That's very unorthodox for a horse, right? Or for a racing horse. Again, makes sense for the Gold family. Because before that, the only thing I really knew about Stay Gold was the video of him sniffing his own poop and then screaming. And then he went to go sniff it again. It's like, my guy, this is self-inflicted torture. But Gold Chip is the smart one of the family, not Stay Gold. The horse I learned that Maxor posted about on Twitter was Kids Look Untouchable. Because apparently he was the child of two horses, Kids Classic Style and then Look Untouchable. And so when those two had a child, the owners decided to shitpost and say, yeah, we're naming the horse Kids Look Untouchable as honor to their parents, Kids Classic Style and Look Untouchable. And to this day, I think that's the funniest name for a horse, just because you cannot have a normal conversation when that horse gets brought up. I ain't either, but it's a funny horse name all the same. Oh yeah, for sure. The thing is, anybody who's actually worked with or been around animals will tell you that animals are on a scale, because most animals are typically going to be dumb. But there's the outliers where that little shit is too smart for their own good, and you know it and they know it, but you can't do anything about it. Actually, you either get a horse who is either super smart or super dumb. And that's kind of where a lot of horses fall in that gradient. Because I haven't exactly spent my life raising horses, but I've worked on enough farms and been a hired hand for farms and ranches before that, yeah, no, horses have really good capacity for intelligence. It just depends on, are you getting a smart horse or a dumb horse? Because you can get either one, and you won't know until they're just there. Okay. I need to throw a lot more green onto this. I was trying to be careful with this algae green color getting onto my metal, but I'm not getting it grungy enough. Because I need this Balthazar gold to be stained. I also need to raise this a bit so that way it stays in frame whenever I'm painting. Because I believe, when it comes to horse intelligence, I believe Gold Chip's owner says that Gold Chip was smarter than most horses, and that he believes Gold Chip did what he did because Gold Chip was intelligent enough to know what a camera was on him, and he just acted out for attention because he liked it. And then during the 80 billion or million yen incident, that was the one time he let his trainer actually touch him because he knew he messed up when that race happened and he lost. Saw a YouTube short of a horses doing dumb things. One of them got a trash bin over its head. There was a hole in the side and its snoot was poking out. The owner was like, bruh. Oh yeah. Horses are smarter than cows. And cows are dumbasses. However, cows are like dogs. Because everybody who's owned a cow or worked on a farm where the cows have been around, cows are giant grass puppies. The problem is they're giant grass puppies. So you can get dogs that are absolutely adorable. They're great. You love them. But a box of rocks would be able to tell you where their stick went faster than that dog. And that's kind of how cows are. Horses are a step up above cows. Because cows are incredibly stupid. I've been around and worked with them enough I can say that with full confidence. I love cows. They're phenomenal animals. You can be a phenomenal animal and still be stupid. Yep. Yep. Goldchip was smart enough to know what a camera was and to have attention on him. Dumb enough to chew a horse to injure himself while choosing on a beam. Which is very much in line with anime Goldchip. Golshi is absolutely one of the most entertaining ones. And I always feel bad whenever she got injured in the eye. Granted, self-inflicted, yes. Still painful, though. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, dude did not try during his racing career. At least most people don't think he did. Because of how healthy he was as a racehorse in retirement. I think my favorite artwork of Goldchip, though, was they took anime Golshi and just put born to breed, forced to race. And it's just Golshi looking very sad into the rain. Oh, yeah. I'm glad Golshi's enjoying life. He was born into an industry that definitely would not let most horses get away with what he did. And yet, not only did he get away with it, he's now living life, living large. And so, I am glad there's a happy ending for Golshi. Especially when you consider other horses like Rice Shower. Though it is funny that Golshi is known as the breeding horse when Agnes Tachyon has lived less years than him and had so many more offspring than Golshi. Like, I think Agnes Tachyon is the most. He only lived to 11 years and had 2,000 children to his name, which is absurd. Well, that's because Golship was known for being really good at breeding with other horses. Like, because I ended up looking at some of these details because I kept hearing the jokes. I'm like, okay, what's the story behind this? He was able to breed with horses who struggled with breeding. And because he was so good at it, a lot of female horses fell in love with him. He not only helped refire dying stars, but he was so good at it that the other horses only wanted, like, really just liked being around him because he was so good as a breeding horse. Yeah, Reischauer's story is very depressing. And the way they portrayed it in the anime is really good because it hurt. I knew the sections were coming up because everybody's talking about the lore and the story, and I was slow to watch the anime. So I knew the moments were coming up because I saw them, and they still hurt, even when they were spoiled. I'm like, oh no. Oh, this hurts. Oh, they characterized it so well. Oh no. They hit me in the feels, and I was not ready, even though I should have been ready because it was all spoiled ahead of time. Oh. Oh, for sure it was. Oh, yeah. It's kind of why I'm glad that, despite all the depression in the real life, they made Reischauer friends with Haru Urara in the anime, because Rice needed that. If there's anybody who needed Haru most, it was Rice. So giving the anime iteration a friend in the most positive thinker and go-getter in the world, absolutely the cutest combination and the most wholesome. Okay. Really? Huh. Okay, mostly just on this side, and then I'm almost done with all the algae green. Ash Blossom. Oh boy. That's adorable. But oh boy. Yep. Ah, man. Okay. So I need to redo the bird, and I got a few details to touch up on this. But for the most part, we are almost done with the Chaos Knight. Really? I did not know this. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In years, so I wouldn't really know anything about it. I remember watching 5Ds as a kid, and then I got some booster packs for it. I had a deck that I could play, because a couple of guys who played Yu-Gi-Oh! In my area helped me build it, and then when I tried playing it, just did not work. Like, they tried teaching me, but they weren't that good at teachers, and so I kind of made a lot of misplays, and I just didn't get it or enjoy it. I've always considered about trying it again, though, but definitely not happening for a while. Really? Oh, boy. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, for the most part, for the gold bits at least, we got it tinted down so it looks more grungy. We got the wash and the edge highlights on the rocks. I really just need to go in and do the final details, and then I can call this guy done. We are close. So very close. But I think I'm going to call it there, because we got some good progress on the minis that we painted. But I am still sick, so I should probably just go back to bed and sleep for a little bit longer. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Master helped me a ton with learning. It's free and gives you tons of free stuff for spending. Okay. Well, I might check it out sometime. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out and for talking with me, and for the painting advice, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Advice, and for talking anime with me. I always enjoy it when I'm able to get together with people and just talk about random things. But hopefully I see you guys sometime soon. Take care until then, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you next. Have a good day.